What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with the Asamos. I hope I'm saying that right, but I've given up really expecting that I'm saying it right. Light Armored Transport. Now, at first glance, this was actually a suggestion I got in the comments of the last video, so I'm happy that we're getting some more community suggestions kind of thing. That's kind of fun. I like that. But at first glance, I was kind of like, yeah, this is cool. I like it, you know. But I wasn't really looking. I wasn't really sure what the wow factor was. Like, where is the? Because not that the design is bad or anything. It was just a little bit more simplistic than some of the other more complex and highly detailed builds that we've showcased before. But as I got looking through some of the screenshots, I noticed that some of what I would consider the coolest part, or the unique part, is actually on the inside, where there's been quite a bit done in terms of basically like interior design, especially for a vanilla ship. We've all talked about that before, where vanilla is sometimes lacking in interior stuff, and this had a really cool interior, particularly with some of its computer layouts. I really liked... Ooh, wow, that's bright. We got screens over here to do readout stuff. This is the main bridge, I believe. And then this is kind of your readout panel that I'm not taking the time to read, and I'm probably gonna mess something up. But like this kind of thing, where you have a platform, and we've seen this before, where you take a large rotor and a small rotor head, and then this allows you to build like a small grid for like your computers and things, which is a really cool idea. But some of this, like covering it up with blast door blocks and things to make it look like a raised platform, using some of the curved elements and things like that, honestly just was really different, and it was a little unique to this particular ship. I haven't seen a lot of... I've seen the idea used, I haven't seen it used in some of this way before. And this one was a really cool addition as well. I'm trying to see, I could go into spectator mode, but I really didn't feel like it. So there's the inner guts of the table, as you can see down there, with the larger rotor. But overall, like, this kind of stuff was really neat. Now, I don't know how they did this. This looks to be almost like a custom-made image. I don't think that some of this was done through... Because some of, like this one, the damage readout and things, I'm pretty sure that's done through scripts. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure it's done through scripts. Whereas some of this kind of stuff looks like... these definitely, but some of these ship readouts look to be custom textures, which is cool. It adds a nice little touch to the detail. But I liked some of this computer stuff, and quite honestly, it was the biggest thing that really stuck out to me as far as, like, this is really cool. Because we've seen things like this, but it's usually with modded, where they have some other kind of screens and things. We can also see the landing gears that are retractable. Now, this ship is actually capable of transferring between atmospheres, I believe, as well. So there's the external access. Let's go take a peek around the rest of the ship. Space Engineers News. I just noticed that. I didn't see the headline on there before. That's funny. Also, there's the landing gear again. So where does this actually go? Crewman Jim's quarters. Okay. So this is Jim's quarters. And I'm not 100% positive, because I was reading through the different builds that I was going to use this episode, and so sometimes I might get them a little confused here and there, but I'm pretty sure this said it could hold 7 crew, I think, was this ship. I think that was this one. I try and usually read a description and then do that build. And then in between, you know, where it's just a quick transition for you guys, in between there, I'm like loading the next one and reading the next description and all that kind of stuff. So I try and kind of keep it to where whatever one I'm working on is the one that's in my noggin. Open and close ramp. Ramp safety lock, change lights, and... Or wait, no. Orange lights and white lights. Sometimes that font is hard to read. I don't know why they did it that way. So we have the airlock doors here that are sealing off the rotor and the landing gear. That's a cool technique. We've seen that a couple times, especially recently. I don't know what's driven that to kind of become the go to standard, but that is something I've seen a lot more recently. Rockets, door, I don't know what that is, door S, or door 5, I'm not sure, ER lights, landing lights. So this is, oh, that's the rocket launchers. Okay, so this is some kind of like rocket launcher loading bay, maybe. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's a cargo access point here, so you could say that's some kind of reload station, I guess. Because actually, I did not see, that's not to say that there wasn't any, but I didn't see any conveyors connecting to the rocket launchers, so it's possible they don't auto-reload. I'm not sure. Engine room, medbay, and crew quarters. Let's go check this out. No signs. Obviously, medbay and cryo chamber. Oh, that's kind of cool. It changes colors. That's a neat idea. I like that. And this must be the crew quarters. So, yeah. That's about right. That looked to be about 6 or 7 bunks. And then I think this is the main engineering and kind of pseudo guts of the ship. And I do like this. I'll probably start using this a little bit more in my own builds as well. Rather than just straight metal flooring, the catwalk that's flat with no railing, I think now that they've upgraded the vanilla textures, I think that looks a lot better for flooring. In some cases. Some cases the standard block looks really good, but in certain cases I like the catwalk kind of look. It's got, I don't know, it's just a really cool, like, futuristic looking block to me. So there's readout panels everywhere for different various things. We're kind of used to that at this point. I've said it many times, it's really cool, and I'm sure the scripters are really proud to think that some of these scripts like M-Masters, adjustable LCDs and all that kind of stuff is kind of standard. Even for vanilla ships, that's kind of just become standard operating scripts that everybody seems to be using. That and the damage readout one is actually fairly recent and has become very popular. And with good reason. I mean, it's a really, really, really cool script. I like this too, an unfinished catwalk over the... Well, I guess that's a window, given the change in the sound effects. But either way, window or catwalk over the root base of the hangar airtight doors and stuff. That's a cool idea to keep you from feeling like you're just walking on the hydraulics and stuff like that. Then we got all this stuff. I'm assuming this is hydrogen tank and maybe reactor control. No, guess not. It said thrusters. That must be reactor stuff up there. There was a panel up here, I thought, somewhere around here that probably, or back in this room maybe. There's got to be reactor controls somewhere, but it's not really all that important. So yeah, I really like the interior to this, especially, again, interiors are hard to do vanilla. You know, kind of one of those, that's definitely, I give people the benefit of the doubt when they're trying to do vanilla builds and then try and do polished and well-rounded interiors. That's not easy. With the limited blocks that are available for decoration, I personally have found that to be a very hard task to accomplish, is making the interiors and stuff actually look really good without using mods. But overall, I have to admit, the thing that drew me to this the most was the use of the small blocks for computers and things. I thought that was kind of probably one of the best examples of using it in this way without tying it to mods or anything. We've seen some of this kind of stuff done, but then it utilized mods to make really unique setups. And so for this to be in vanilla and have these cool, like, table screens and this well-concealed console wall or console block and stuff like that, I thought was a really good idea. So overall, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, so next up we have the, I don't know how it's supposed to be said, so I'm just going to go with AprStar. I'm not really sure how else I'm supposed to say it, but I'm pretty sure that's not the right way to do it. Now, this one actually has some really interesting stuff involved, particularly its VTOL system. well, I mean, I say VTOL, but technically that's vertical takeoff and landing. This actually is flight mode system is probably more accurate, but it's really neat because most ships that use a VTOL it's a straight VTOL. It will go up and then the rotors will move forward, and now they're lateral thrusters, or not lateral necessarily, but horizontal thrusters. They go from vertical to horizontal and they move, but this one actually has 3 flight modes, which is a really interesting concept in my opinion. It has a landing mode, but then it has what it's called an aero, or, you know, you could call it flight mode or atmosphere mode or whatever you wanted to call it. And then there's space. So this is kind of an interesting concept to me because it's not just a takeoff and a flight mode. It's actually got a different one for atmospheres and a different one for space. And that's a really neat idea. And what basically comes, as far as I know, I'm no, you know, aeronautical engineer or anything like that, but as far as I know, the factor that's in play is a third set of thrusters, where these two can be in different positions, and then this is a kind of a new factor to that equation, whereas they're not doing the same things all at the same time. They're in different modes, which is kind of neat. And I mean, the design of the ship is really cool. I particularly like these helicarrier propeller almost looking thrusters. I think that's a really nice touch. I really, really like that. Plus, another thing I was really excited about is this open bridge. And I say open as in open view. It's got a really, really cool looking bridge just from the outside. I love the supportless suspended bridge type of thing there that's just kind of floating over there, and it's all glass and stuff. Really, really slick. I really like that. As for an entrance, though, that is the question. I've done really good in the past months. I haven't had to use my door timer in a very long time. And I guess I won't have to again. And I should point out, I don't know exactly what's going on, because I saw this in my last build that I just walked through in this same episode. But I'm getting a solid frame rate, but I seem to be having some sim speed type issues, and I don't know if that's just my PC, like if I've just got too much going on in the background and it's like, you know, stressing the RAM or something, but like my frame rate is solid, but when I turn and stuff, there's just some jaggedness to it a little bit, just a touch, and I'm not really sure where that's coming from. Oh, that's glass. I was trying to walk forward and I couldn't go anywhere. So yeah, I'm not really sure what that's about, to be perfectly honest. I might have to do some switching around in the background before the next one and see if it clears up a little bit, because it could just be the builds. Some of them they're taxing on the simulation. I know in this one in particular has a lot of light changes and scripts running and things. One way I could test this, I guess, is the sim speed of the walking, which now I can't see because of the current view system. So it does seem like I'm running a little bit slow. Even though the animations and stuff are playing normally, it does seem to be running a little slow. So my gut tells me it's the game. It might just be the stress of the build. But overall, frame rate's not bad. I'm just getting some sim speed issues and some cursor jitters and things like that. Now, this is an interesting idea. I wasn't really sure why there was LCDs on the floor. But it's actually almost like a witness move where, you know, as you're running around, you can look down and read them. That's kind of an interesting idea. Again, there's a lot of kind of cool concepts to this build. I'm really a fan of this. I really, really like it. Like having a glass floor, but then having the floor beneath it have LCDs. This is also really cool. I don't know if this is the same script that we've always seen, the damage screen, but actually it's matching my point of view, isn't it? Is that what it's doing? Because it was moving a second ago, but then now it's like not moving. I don't know what that's about. But I like the 3D rendering thing. That's new. If that's part of the script, they've updated the script, and I haven't seen that feature before. Because that's really, 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 really neat. I like that. That could be part of the SimSpeed stuff, though, with all that trying to run in the background. This is really cool, but in real life would scare the bejeebies out of me. I mean, it's cool in a game. It's like, wow, look at this view. But in real life, I'd be like, I don't want to stand over top of the void when all that's between me and the void is glass. That's freaky. But yeah, overall, I really like this bridge. This is really, really cool stuff with the open, lots of glass views. I particularly like how they handled doing a 2-layer bridge, but kept it glass, to where even though it's 2 layers and there's an upper and a lower floor, you can actually both can still see down to the bottom, or see through the bottom, in fact. That's really, really, really neat. Alright, let's check out the main attraction, though, which is the flight systems. So we have the landing gears there, timer pistons for the landing gears. Where is... here we go. Space mode, landing mode, and aero mode. Now, these are to reverse the thrusters. Hydrogen, I'm guessing. That says H, C, and B. I'm not really... oh, wait. No, this is head... I forget what it said. In the description, it was basically like front, middle, and back or something like that. I don't know what the C stands for, but it was basically the front, middle, and rear thrusters, but it's to reverse them. I'm not sure if that's a manual control, like if you didn't want to completely change the flight mode and you just wanted to reverse the thrusters or something. I'm not sure I want to mess with that because it might screw up the VTOL system. So we have the reactors and the batteries, blah, 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 jump drives. And the description is actually very descriptive. It goes through a lot of stuff like jump range, laden and unladen, and all that kind of stuff. So it was actually a pretty thorough description, which was really cool. Some of them, they're just like, you know, this is my ship, and you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't really tell me a lot about what it's supposed to be about, but okay. So I'm not sure what this projector is for, but there's an on-off, and then there's adjustments. Could be for a repair system. Not entirely positive. Let's actually test that out. What does that do? Oh, it was on, and now it's off. Okay, so I'm not really sure what that's projecting then. We're going to leave it alone before I break something. Okay, so now, at this particular moment, the thrusters seem to be off? No, they're not off. Okay, so we're in landing mode at this point then. Oops. Now, any of these modes, if you switch to them, apparently, it does recommend not moving, or having momentum, because I think they said it has a safety lock of like 9 meters per second. But as far as I know, pushing any one of these 3 will just switch it to that mode. So let's try aero. Oops, I lost my view. I'm losing my view. No, I want my view. The lights also change color. Why can't I hate this camera? I really, really do. Hold on. Where is my spectator mode? I do this a lot, and I move around, but because there's no planets or anything in here, I can never remember where I left my spectator camera. Okay, so now it is currently in landing mode. Not landing mode. What am I thinking? Aero mode. Okay, so from this point, you can see our other thrusters here have rotated to where they're forward and backward, or front and rear, whatever you want to call it. And these have pointed down, it looks like, unless I'm upside down. My spectator camera mode is upside down, I think. That's better. Helps if you're looking at things from the right angle. So basically, these are going to work as your lift to keep you elevated so that the gravity doesn't pull you down, and also to take off. You can go further up, but then you have these to move forward and backwards, so it keeps you with full range of flight motion, which is a really cool touch. And again, the whole kind of purpose behind the flight mode mechanic. So from here you can lift up. There are downward thrusters. You can see them firing with the dampeners on to try and reduce the speed. And then you have the forward and backwards, and then you can see the side ones that never really go anywhere. The other mode that we have, we saw landing, but we'll go to space from here, I believe. that the one that I pushed? Space. It does not seem to have worked. There we go. It didn't take. So the lights change too, which is a really neat touch. When it's red, they're in changing mode, and then each mode has a different color to, like blue is space. I believe they said yellow was landing and green was arrow, I believe. And so at this point we have more powerful thrusters moving forward and backward, and the smaller ones become your verticality. Which is, again, a really cool touch, because out in space you're going to want to move a little bit faster and slow down quicker, but maybe not care quite as much about vertical lift. So that's a really cool technique as well. And then, of course, we have the landing mode, which is, I believe, the 2, and then you have your forward and backward facing thrusters that everything basically faces down, and you just have vertical thrusts, and then it goes into the yellow mode. So overall, really, really neat concept. I like the 3 modes. I think that kind of gives a cool, unique twist on the typical VTOL system. And I really, really love the bridge. So the bridge and the VTOL system and the thruster design and stuff is really, really neat. Overall, I just really like the ship. It was just a really unique take on the whole flight mode system thing, and I think it's a really cool result. So that's it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Alrighty, so last but not least, we have, I've honestly forgotten the name of this entirely. It's like the inflatable bunker, or like do-it-yourself bunker. I forget what it's called. Portable bunker. I don't remember. Look in the description, because I'm awful at remembering the names of things. I would also recommend, if you're having trouble with placing this down and getting it set up correctly, it does require a little bit of setup. But the video that's on the description page for the actual workshop file, at the very end of that video, it does walk you through the steps, and they did work. I tried it the first time, and it did work. It's a little bit of work. It's a teeny bit of work, though. It's not like a cut and paste. You actually have to paste this in, and then you have to take a drill and basically dig your way down here. As you can see, there's actually some stone there that I missed. And then all of this is still going to be ground wherever you pasted it in, and you're going to drop into this cockpit here. And then if you look at this, we have a drill thing set up. So you click that, and then you hold the right mouse button, and magically, all of the stuff disappears. That's the short version. I mean, I'm not visibly actually doing it. It also tells you here, you know, step 1 was drill down, step 2, get in the cockpit, step 3, hold the right mouse button for a few seconds, not too long. Oh, it will damage certain blocks. Whoops. So if there's anything super damaged that's not supposed to be, my bad. I was kind of just holding it till it cleared. I might have held it too long. I don't really know. This is an airtight build as well from this point on, from what I understand from the description. So that also makes this a applicable base for like asteroids or moons or any place that's essentially not got an atmosphere or oxygenated or whatever. So we have some of these. I like this, by the way. This is a really cool little just light fixture kind of thing. Now, this is sparking in here somewhere in the reactor, but honestly, I think that happened in the original video of the build, so I don't feel like I did anything wrong. Could be wrong, though. I really, really like this idea, though, because I love the whole built into the ground thing without having to dig out a cave. It's really, really neat. I don't honestly understand it. To me, this is voodoo. I don't know. I did read a comment from the actual builder of the blueprint that stated basically the dig out the area that was needed was essentially done by hidden drills. How that... I just work here. I just show off other people's cool stuff because I'm not really that good at making cool stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know how that's done. If you're really that curious, I would, I guess, try and contact them and see how they did it, because I don't know. Or just rip the blueprint apart above ground and just see how it works. That's another way to do it. It's a really cool idea, though, because as you can see, it's never in the way. What is this? Oh my gosh! I forgot about this. Isn't that the, like, pixelated version of Star Wars or something that's gone around for a long time? That's funny. I forgot all about that. I think that's the same thing, isn't it? I don't think that's a custom made, like, just for space engineers. I think that was that old, Star Wars thing that went around for a while. I could be wrong. I could be mixing it up, because there was, like, a pixelated version of that. That's hilarious, though. Here's the bunks. And again, really good use of vanilla blocks. Like the whole using a small... Wait, how in the world? Hold up. We got some more black magic going on over here. What is... Okay, there's the rotor. I was like, wait a minute. What is this madness? Okay, so we have a rotor here that they connected into actually the beds. Huh. So that's LCD screens and ramps. Very cool. And then we've got the kitchenette type of thing. And then they just ran this around to make a little frame. That's super interesting. And then you got the rotor for the table. That's really, really cool. I'm loving how creative people are being with getting around the restraints of vanilla blocks. I really like that. Mainly because it gives me ideas on how I could do stuff without actually using mods, even though mods are the easier. Now, some of this, I don't know if I didn't hold the drill to, like, not long enough, maybe, and maybe some of this shouldn't be completely covered in rock. But I will say I like the look, though. I've always liked the idea of, like, these subterranean bases and things. I mean, I think anybody who's ever played Minecraft has made a subterranean base. Let's just be honest. Everybody's done it. So I really like the look of this, but the coolest part to this build is that you can paste it in and have it drill itself a space where it's not restricted or inconvenienced by, like, well, I wanted to have an area over here, but I haven't cleared this area out, you know, stuff like that. It's like a self-clearing base, which is cool. Now, it would be useful in survival. I don't know that pasting the blueprint in that way would actually work in survival, so that's something to keep in mind. I could be wrong, but oh wow, that's a creative toilet. That's a really cool idea. In fact, the only thing about that I would probably change is I would probably have painted all of the floor blocks so that that looks separate, but that's really cool. It's like 2 ramps and a couple of circles. That's neat. Or, not circles, spherical corners. And then we've got a mirror. I think that's a mirror. I hope that's a mirror. Like a sink. Sink with a mirror. And a shower. Look at that! How cool is that? And they even kept an incomplete interior light, if I'm guessing correctly, for like a shampoo tray. Now, a funny little touch would be to add a sound effect for running water for that speaker. That would be awesome. I don't know, that it could be in there. I didn't really check. So anyways, it's a little bit small in terms of square footage. There's, like, we've kind of seen everything at this point, but it's basically supposed to be a survival area for, I believe it's up to 2 people. Really cool idea, though. I think the biggest novelty item to it is the subterranean side of things, as well as it clears its own space. You don't have to, like, spend hours and hours and hours drilling. The only part I don't know how this would work is in survival. If you pasted it in but didn't have the materials to build the blueprint, I don't know how that would actually work, or if you would have to make it creative, paste it in, drill everything out, and then switch over to survival or something to that effect and make like a scenario out of it or something. But overall, I really just like the concept. Regardless of how practical it may actually end up being in a survival setting, the concept is super cool. So I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. In the meantime, we're going to wrap things up here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace!